Hi there. How are you doing? I'm fine. My name is Tim Larsen, and I want to welcome you to another edition of What's Tim Doing This Week, where I show you different strategies and techniques for making comic books. Today's subject is a real cool one, where I'll show you an interesting twerk of a familiar device, the straight edge. All you need for this is a strip of clear acrylic and a string and some tape. Shall we get started? Now, all of you know that most all straight edges are just that. They're straight on the edge, and you can use them for straight edge things like buildings, light poles, furniture, gun barrels, stool legs, towers, etc. But what if you want to make a curved line? What if you want to show a series of curves in a design? I'll show you two finished examples and then take a step back to show you how I made these examples on a new piece of paper. Let's begin. Mayfield 8, and as you can see, the ceiling here is kind of bent looking, and I wanted that effect of you're kind of looking up and it's a fisheye lens. I'm not so sure if it really pulled it off well, because it's a mixture with straight lines. As you can see, looking at the wall here, things are kind of straight, and then when you go up to the ceiling, you have this curved effect, and that was done with the with that tool. Let me show you further on. I think it's this one here. Let me go to that page. Here we go. Okay. And on this page, there we go. That's what I'm talking about with the second part of the demonstration. I'll show you with kind of making a, no pun intended, a twist on the idea of the vanishing point lines. And in this case, I didn't use like a tiny pin for the vanishing point center. I used like a fairly larger piece, like a jar lid, or I forgot exactly what I did. It was something circular that I rested that funky looking clear piece of plexiglass over. So anyway, yeah, it's like a really cool effect that you can. I'm sorry. Here we go. Okay, sorry about the navigation here. There we go. Yeah, it's really a cool effect you can do. This was all done by hand with. The demonstration shows a pencil, but it could easily just as well be done with an ink pen that can ride against a straight edge or a curved plastic edge like you have. And yeah, it was first done in pencil and then done in ink. The key to doing any kind of action lines, radiating lines, is to try and not have any of these lines touch each other. And as a bonus point, like, don't have it touch too much the action around it. Your reader will visually turn this into something of its own element. Once it starts touching itself, each line, or if it touches the characters here, then it becomes part of the space in the foreground, and it's kind of a muddle. You're not quite sure, where it's supposed to lie. So anyway, I think that's a really cool effect you can do if you're used to doing vanishing lines. Try making some curved piece the way I demonstrated with that string and a flat piece of acrylic plexiglass. You can modify it depending on how tightly you're gripping the string or how many twists you put around your fingers. It's a fun thing to play with. And I think I also, in the process of making these lines, I did kind of play with the tension on the string so that these arcs are a little bit different each time. But again, I used something down here, I forgot, but I think it was like a dowel, a bottle cap, something round that I used to ride that edge on so that it would have a nice, consistent and congruent point that it all points to in the center. Okay. So I have a space I'm making this little panel here, and I have this vast room I want to illustrate, and there's here, I'll make it end over here. This is the left side of the panel. Let's just because I can't move this bar over any further, so let's just make it right here. Okay. So then we have our floor, and the far wall, the ceiling. And normally, like if I establish my horizon line is probably going to be right around here, because that's kind of like splitting these two. If these came to a point, be right about here. Let's just kind of mark it on the edges here. So okay, that's my imaginary vanishing point. And then like way off to the side here, there will be like a series of lines like so. I'm just going to start drawing a few of them in there. But let's say I wanted to give a feeling of vast space here, and that maybe this these lines are curved, like if they went along a curve like that. Or maybe it's just simply a vaulted roof, okay? So, and let's say I want to make inside this vaulted roof, I want to have lines that are consistent. So what I do is get this tool and the string here, and I'm pulling on it tighter. And if I can just hold on to it, see I got the string around my fingers here. If I can just simply hold on to it, then it's not that hard. Oops, I got this upside down. Let me start over again. Okay. All right. Twisting your fingers around and kind of playing with it until you get, there we go. There, you see, now I got like an edge here that I can draw. Could also hold my pen tool up against it, and look at this. You know, I draw another line right next to it, another line next to that, and match this one. Oops, don't want to press too hard. Okay. And you can see how easy it is to draw a second line and a third line, and to really get these things in tight rather than like I was doing right here, just sketching it out a little bit at a time. And you can really quickly lay in something using a tool like this that keeps a consistent arc, and you don't have to like cut out a big piece of cardboard or figure out a like a string and a stick, or just anything difficult like that. It's really a cool tool for doing something like that. Second thing I want to show, where I have an example in my comic book of speed lines, but they're not just radiating in straight lines off of the subject. I'm going to draw this really basic here just so you get the idea. Okay. So what I had originally was that the curved line of the ground. Okay. And then I wanted there to be this background here, and I have these motorcycles. Okay. With these riders. So normally, and my finished example shows this a lot better, but this would be like the structure as you're starting to pencil things in, you're getting things figured out. And normally, you know, you would get a, like a thumbtack and tape that down, and that would be your pivoting point where you could make these radiating lines, but then they would all be straight lines if you're using this. As an alternative to that idea, I like the idea of using like a, let's see, a curved piece of something. About a battery, maybe. Let's see. Okay, this will be edited, but I need to have like a filter. Oh yeah. That'll work really good. Okay. So, like, let's say I use this cap to a shaving cream bottle and I tape that down securely onto the board. Doubling over some masking tape and sticking it right there. And let's see what happens when I draw with my tool and I admit this thing's kind of ugly and ungainly looking. You could probably make something much more elegant. But anyway, we'll just see what happens. So long as this doesn't move around. Okay, that's pretty stuck. And I don't know, let's make it ride on the edge here on the inside and just see what happens. Okay, do a few more like this. And then maybe a few more down here. Oops, my little cap is starting to come off now. That's okay. And you can see how you're getting this really interesting kind of, you know, like hypnotic acid trip kind of spirally line, that really does give you the sense of a rushing movement coming out at you, rather than, you know, your typical. Let me set this up very, very quickly here to show you the alternative. Rather than these kinds of lines here, because there's something about all of them being curved, and there's a twist to them that gives you a real good sense of motion. And I think this is something where if you were to work this up digitally, it would take a long, long time, because you'd be doing these little lines, these vector lines, and you'd be worried about them not touching because it ruins the effect if they touch. But if you go with an actual piece of paper like this, and like I said, that tool, creating an arc, you really have something that can make an interesting kind of perspective and an interesting kind of design element. Well, that's it for now. I hope that was helpful. Before I say goodbye, let me show you a totally free comic book you can read on my website. It's called Dustbowl, written by my friend Luke Merrifield. I didn't just do biker comic books, by the way, but I also have a few other styles under my belt. Dustbowl is a steampunk story that's about a bounty hunter as he walks across a dry desert searching for his quarry, which is an escaped prisoner from a multiple balloon ship crash. Dustbowl is a steampunk delight that will interest any comic book fan. Just type www.timsnotebook.com/comics_dust to read totally free this weird and highly detailed steampunk extravaganza. I'll have the link given in the description below, with another link to buy a printed hard copy if you would like one of these for yourself. Thanks very much for watching this video. Keep making comics. You only get better at it when you keep working on it, and you'll never know what new heights you'll reach tomorrow. Take care.